Brendan.
Hubert,
Yeah.
just wanted to start off wondering if you had an update on Caleb.
Yeah.
Any information about whether or not how he's progressing.
He is progressing. Obviously, he has been doing individual workouts, and since we played on Tuesday, we didn't have practice yesterday. We'll practice today. He'll do more today, but other than that, I don't have any other additional information.
Has he been cleared for 505?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Do you think he'll play, or how will he be listed on the availability chart?
I have no idea. We haven't practiced. We didn't practice yesterday, and we practiced at 3:01 today, and it's 2:01.
Rod, Hubert, you often talk about tweeting and ordering and pivoting things.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the most you've had to do this in a season with all the stuff y'all have had to deal with? Not a lot of continuity as far as the roster goes. Have there been more meetings of the minds and discussions with players about how to map out wins and how you guys have gone about doing it?
Yeah, I think that's like, you're talking about the injuries and having to adjust. Those are things that you guys see. There's a lot of other things that go into getting prepared for a game, and so there's always ongoing adjustments, things that you have to change, look at, tweak, pivot, alter throughout the year to put them in the best position to be successful. But, like I've said before, I've been so proud of this group of how they've been able to do it, because when you look at it in its entirety, it's been a lot. And the way that these guys have adjusted and responded and reacted to it has been remarkable.
Hubert, in the first game against Duke, outside of the last shot that Seth hit and Caleb's first half, what did you feel like the team did really well against them?
I felt like in the second half we dominated points in the paint. I thought that was huge for us. In the first half we had 4, in the second half we had 18, and so we had better shot selection. We took care of the basketball better, and I thought we were really good and tight defensively. We were able to get stops when we needed to, but our offensive approach in the second half was much better than it was the first half.
Aaron.
I had a larger question about freshmen this year. There's been a lot of talk about how good the class is from Caleb to Cam all over the country. I'm curious, when you were working on recruiting, and I know you have to kind of work ahead years out to kind of get connected with guys as they're coming up. How did you sort of evaluate like this freshman class in terms of the talent that might be there to chase this year?
Well, you knew that they were extremely talented, but you just never know how they're going to adjust moving to this level. I know a lot of people think going from high school to playing at this level, the transition is easy. It is not. And, for these freshmen to be able to come in and not only compete, but compete at the level that they're playing at is yes, it's awesome, but I have it from my perspective. And yes, I wasn't a McDonald's All-American, and as a freshman, I got 3 minutes a game, and I thought that was too much. I wanted no part of it being out there on the floor. So I look at these guys in awe of, Derek and Caleb as freshmen being so impactful their freshman year, because it was something that I wasn't ready to do my freshman year.
Michael and Andrew.
Hubert, does the fact that you guys did clinch the double bye in the ACC tournament yesterday, does that affect at all your preparation with Caleb as far as Saturday's game goes? Like, for instance, if you needed to win Saturday to clinch double bye, would that affect how you go about his recovery?
No, not at all. Our focus is on Duke and, our game on Saturday, and, our preparation for that. And that's the only conversations that I've had with the team. It's the only conversations I've had with the coaching staff, and that's where our focus is for us to play our best on Saturday.
Andrew, then Noah.
Since Caleb went down, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about the things you see, how you've seen your team grow? The very first thing that comes to mind, areas of growth.
That's a great question. I don't think you can say we've grown in this way. I think we have grown in a number of ways. I think individuals have stepped up and played extremely well. Jonathan, Zayden, Derek, Jaren, Jaden. I mean, there's no better play than Jaren's offensive rebound against Clemson. So I feel like individual players have stepped up. I feel like as a group, one of the things that we always talk about is whatever it takes, and I feel like they have taken hold of that. And if we need a stop, we get a stop. If we need a basket to execute, we get it done. And just their ability to be able to adjust on the fly and be able to perform out there on the floor has been really good with this group.
Hubert, what has been the biggest difference that you've seen in Henry's role since Caleb has been out?
I don't see anything different. I want him on the court all the time, and I want him to block every shot and to rebound, and I want him to score. And so obviously having him on the floor is huge. He does so many things for us. Defensively, it's nice to have 7-1 around the basket to be able to block and alter shots. The way that he talks on defense, he leads, he's our best talker, and so the way that he communicates puts us in the right positions. And then from an offensive standpoint, just his versatility, being able to shoot from three, score around the rim, pass, handle the basketball, it's elite. And so having that type of experience and that type of player on the floor is something that we want, irregardless of who's on the floor with them or not.
Brennan, then Shelby.
Hubert, how would you, I'm sure you go back and you watch the first game, but how would you evaluate the way Duke has played, if they have changed, how so, since you guys saw them?
Yeah, I mean, they're just I don't think anything has changed in regards to how they're playing. I mean, they were a really good defensive team the first time that we played, and they're sound defensively. They're really good on the ball. There are very few times that they have to get into rotations. That they limit teams to one shot every possession, and they defend without fouling. And then on the offensive end, the way that they execute their sets is at a high level. Whether it's screens, the pace in which they run, the passing ability from Caleb all the way to their bigs, shot-making ability, their ability to consistently score in the paint, but also from three. And so they've done it consistently throughout the year, and they just continue to get better.
Shelby.
Hubert, I wanted to ask, just speaking to a lot of players, they've kind of looked at the NC State game and that loss almost as a turning point for them, talk about how they regrouped and responded since then. Just wanted to see if you've seen a similar thing, and just what's impressed you most about specifically how they responded and regrouped after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how they have responded the whole season. I mean, it was, whether it's after we lost against Michigan State and we responded, we're able to get the win against Kentucky, how we responded after losing at SMU or the two games in California. This team has been really good at coming back to practice, getting back to work, looking for ways to improve and to get better, and taking advantage of the opportunity the next time they get out there on the floor.
I guess a quick follow-up on that, too, just something, it seems like kind of like a mantra or a phrase that the players have brought up is just the idea of the circle and keeping the circle. Just want to see is that something that you told them or just where that came from?
No, it's something that we talked about at the beginning of the season. Actually gave them each individual player a handbook and had all of their names in a circle, but they were all connected. And I said that this is a tight group, and we have to stay together. And there are going to be good times. There are going to be sunny and clear sky days, but there are also going to be some windy and rainy days. And through those days, we have to stay connected. And the guys have really done that this year, and I think that contributes to being able to still be successful with the adjustments, with the changes, after losses, to be able to regroup and just continue to move forward.
Murph.
If there's anyone who can relate to what you're doing, it's probably Coach Shire, having played at, coached at, now wonder what's impressed you about the job that he's been able to do, given the situation he walked into, and how your relationship with him maybe has changed over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't, other than speaking at the ACC meetings in the summer and the 20 seconds before a game and the 1 second after a game, you just don't really get a chance to have a relationship and have a lot of conversations with other coaches. But again, I'm just the job that John has done is I don't even know how to say it. It's been remarkable. The way that he has coached, the way that he has led, how his teams have performed consistently each year, and the joy in which it looks like how much fun it is to be able to be in this position and do this job. And one of the things that I always talk about is this job for me is missionary work. It's it gives me an opportunity to give back to everything that Coach Smith and Coach Guthers did for me, and everything that Coach Williams did for his players for 18 years. And I could see the same things in John in regards to giving back to everything that Coach K has done for him and for the players that Coach K coached.
Time for a couple more. Chris?
Coach, I wanted to ask about Cameron Indoor Stadium. What are your thoughts about the environment? If it does weigh on players at all, but if so, with so many transfers that kind of came in, and first year players, freshmen, how do you impart that to them so they can kind of be ready for the environment on Saturday?
Yeah, we've been in a number of different environments, and obviously Cameron Indoor Stadium is unique, but it's not anything different than any other environment that we've played at. And our focus is on what is real, and what is real is on the court. Everything that goes in the stands is irrelevant, and it's something else that I'm proud of our guys, just the focus that they have of their job and responsibility out there on the court, irregardless of what's happening in the stands, and we'll do the same thing on Saturday.
Kevin?
You were just talking about the circle a little bit. I'm curious to how this team responds to what you call outside noise in the past years. How is this team compared to other teams that you've seen, and how do you adjust to that?
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job. It's hard. When I was in school here, we didn't have cell phones, no computers, call waiting. The television went off at midnight. It's CDs, DVD disc, it's just in my house. It was from the previous owner, but they have and we kept it up there. It doesn't work, but it's one of those payphones where you put quarters in, and then if you remember, you had to call collect, and the person that got it said, "Do you accept this call?" And they could say no, and then you couldn't talk. And so guys don't have any concept of that. So it's noise is everywhere around them, and I'm so impressed with this group of how they have turned down and turned off that noise to be able to not just play, but to enjoy being together as a team. And I think that's the cool part, is these guys really enjoy being together, and they haven't let anything sacrifice the relationships that they have built this year, and that's the thing that has warmed my heart the most.